Let me ask you about nationalism, which I think is at the core of "I Want You" poster. Is nationalism destructive or empowering to a nation? And we can use different words like patriotism,
Hmm.
which is in many ways synonymous to nationalism, but in recent history, perhaps because of the Nazis, has has slowly parted ways. That somehow nationalism is when patriotism gone bad or something like this.
Yeah, they're different, right? Patriotism, patriotism is in some ways best thought of as an emotion, right? And a feeling of love of country, right? Literally, and in some ways that's a necessary condition to participate in nationalism. Um, whether to me, I think nationalism is crucial in a world organized around nation states. And you have to sort of believe that you are engaged in a common project together, right? And so, in the contemporary United States, um, you know, uh, in some ways that question is actually on the table in ways that it hasn't been in the past. But you have to believe that you're engaged in a common project, that you have something in common with the person with whom you share this nation, and that you would sacrifice for them, whether it's by paying taxes for them or going to war to defend them. That's a vision of what we might call civic nationalism. That's the good version. The question is whether you can have that without having um, exclusionary nationalism, hating the other, right? Fearing the other, saying, you're part of this nation against all others. And I think there's a long tradition in America of a very inclusive nationalism that is open, inclusive, welcoming, and, new people to this shared project. That's something to be defended. Exclusionary nationalisms based on ethnic hatreds and others that we see throughout the world, those are things to be afraid of.
But there is a kind of narrative in the United States that a nationalism that includes the big umbrella of democratic nations that strive for freedom, and everybody else is against freedom and against human nature, and it just so happens that it's a half and half split across the world. So that's imperialism. That feels like it beats the drum of war.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to paint too rosy a picture, and certainly, the United States, as a nation, has often found it easier to define ourselves against something than to clarify exactly what we're for.
Yeah, yeah. The Cold War, China today. That's not only the United States. I suppose that's human nature. It's we need a competitor. It's almost like maybe the success of human civilization requires figuring out how to construct competitors that don't result in global war.
Yes, or figuring out how to turn enemies into rivals and competitors. There's a real difference.
Right.
You compete with competitors. You fight with enemies.
Yeah, with competitors is a respect, maybe even a love underlying the competition.